Main man, made man here. Y'all know how I get down. We talking boxing, man. So I'm listening to Eddie Hearn. He's out again talking all of this trash about my main man Bomb Squad and Tyson Fury. Out here trying to trash the pay-per-view numbers. Well, guess what, Eddie? We ain't going like that. We know what you trying to do, bruh. You trying to take back control of the narrative. Well, guess what, man? Myself and a lot of my other fellow uploaders, we ain't going like that. You hear me? You can't run that fast game on us no more, Eddie, because we know what it is. You see what I'm saying? We know that the non-official numbers thus far for Wilder versus Fury is tracking anywhere between 320 to 325,000 buys. But Eddie Hearn seems to think that that's terrible. We all think that is awesome, fantastic, off the hook. You hear me? There ain't been another American heavyweight that has blessed us with pay-per-view numbers like this since Tyson. But Eddie Hearn wants to try to lie and change the narrative and skew the narrative to make people believe that this was some kind of failure, and I ain't going like that. You hear me? Let's keep it all the way live. And I'm not even a numbers dude. But for this particular issue, we going to expose some things and we going to keep it all the way a buck. According to Eddie Hearn, and I quote, Eddie Hearn is saying this, out in quotes, and I quote, to do 300,000 buys is terrible. Absolutely terrible. 300,000 is absolutely abysmal. Dillian Whyte against Joseph Parker did more than 300,000 buys in England. I mean, we're talking about across the U.S. You can't say it's good. Canelo and Golovkin have just done 1.2 million in their middleweights, end quote. Really, Eddie? You really going to try to change the narrative like that? Let's just deal with the American pay-per-view buys, because we're not even going to include the UK buys, which have not been released yet by BT Sports. We're not even going to do that because I don't need those numbers to prove my point. And the point is this. First off, you want to say Joseph Parker and Dillian Whyte did more than that. Last I checked, Joseph Parker and Dillian Whyte was sold at about 1995 pounds. 20 pounds if you want to round it off. When it comes to revenue, the 320,000 buys from Wilder and Fury made about $24.3 million, as opposed to Whyte and Parker at $8 million. Why is that significant? I'll tell you why that's significant. This fight between Wilder and Fury has gone down right after Thanksgiving. People just forked over a lot of money for Thanksgiving. Right in the middle of the holiday season, when you got holiday shopping going on for Christmas. You got college football. You got the NFL in full swing, so people are going to games. You got the NBA in full swing. People are going to games. You got LeBron James in LA, yet with all of those LA fans, yet the place was sold out. So all of that competition that Wilder and Fury is facing, and I ain't even got to the biggest competition that they're facing yet. I will get to that. But all of that competition that they facing, they still managed to hit these numbers. And then you want to turn around and say Canelo and Triple G, two well-established pay-per-view fighters. Fighters that's already been on pay-per-view before. Not to mention you are comparing them, Deontay Wilder's very first pay-per-view, with the cash cow of boxing. A fighter who has just signed the biggest contract in boxing. Since Floyd Mayweather has left, he has been the cash cow in Canelo Alvarez. And you want to compare Wilder's first pay-per-view with a Canelo Alvarez pay-per-view against another humongous star in Gennady Golovkin. That's like me saying, Keith One-Time Thurman, his pay-per-view only did 150,000 buys against Sean Porter, yet Floyd Mayweather just fought Manny Pacquiao, and they just did 4 million buys. That's the same damn thing. That's a crap narrative. You can't compare a man's very first pay-per-view with the cash cow of boxing. That makes absolutely no sense to nobody. And Eddie is being real disingenuous with that comparison. Now let's keep it all the way a buck. This is the part that doesn't get talked about right here. The thing is this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm looking at what Musso is talking about. Musso is an organization or a website that tracks illegal streaming. So you want to say the numbers are so bad, Eddie, but Musso is reporting that the Wilder Fury fight produced over 10 million illegal streams. I repeat, 10 million illegal streams. That's 133 piracy streaming domains and 80 live links from YouTube. Out of those 10 million illegal streams, 2 million came from the United States and 1 million came from the UK. And then you got an additional 7 million that came from worldwide. So this fight was viewed by over 10 million people. It's just that a lot of them didn't pay for it. Showtime lost a lot of money. BT Sports lost a lot of money. But that's just the environment that we living in today, right, Eddie? So one thing you ain't gonna say is that nobody don't know who Deontay Wilder is, because over 10 million people laid eyes on him. Not to mention, Tyson Fury was virtually unknown in the United States. He was just a guy who came over here and kicked up some dust during this press tour and got people interested. And and the uploaders on YouTube and the boxing fans pushed this fight as hard as they could. Now let's do a more fair comparison, shall we? Let's do a more fair comparison. Let's go to Anthony Joshua's very first pay-per-view in the UK. We ain't gonna deal with the Ireland numbers. Lane's the same way that we ain't dealing with the UK numbers for Wilder. And Anthony Joshua's very first pay-per-view that he was the main event, that he was the headliner, was against Dillian Whyte, which at the time upsetted a lot of boxing fans. Because at the time they couldn't figure out why was they putting this fight on pay-per-view. Because they didn't feel as though it was the time yet. But given that Eddie Hearn has seen the numbers from Anthony Joshua versus Gary Cornish, over 300,000 people viewed it, they figured Anthony Joshua was ready for pay-per-view. And so Anthony Joshua versus Dillian Whyte in the UK did 420,000 buys, allegedly. At 1995 pounds, 20 pounds, 420,000 buys. These were two fighters that were from the UK. These were two fighters that had a history with each other due to the fact that Dillian Whyte and Anthony Joshua fought each other back in the day. Fought each other, what was it, in the amateurs, I believe? Yes. They fought each other before. And so this was a grudge match involved with this. Well known in the UK. And you did 420,000 buys. Not contending at the time, illegal streaming wasn't nearly as bad as it is today. Not contending with the humongous football league. Not contending with the humongous basketball league. Not contending with none of that. It happened in December, granted, around the holiday season. But it was only 20 pounds, Eddie. And you did 420,000 buys with two homegrown fighters. As opposed to, you got one guy on his very first pay-per-view trying to come out as a star, fighting a virtually unknown to a lot of the American fans. And you only did maybe a little under 100,000 more buys at a much, much lower price. That's a more fair comparison. Because AJ didn't take off as a pay-per-view attraction into the Klitschko fight. Facts. In which he busted 1.5 million buys. But his first one, 420,000 buys, as opposed to Wilder's 325 at $75 a pop with other major sports and 10 million illegal streams. So what are we talking about, Eddie? Those are the real numbers. Those are the real numbers. And this is the reason why you want to get at Deontay Wilder so bad now, or at least acting like you do. Because you know, Eddie, that if this rematch between Wilder and Fury happens, guess what? The numbers will grow. More revenue will be made. The gates will explode. The pay-per-view numbers are going to be off the charts. With the controversy from the first fight, the pay-per-view numbers are going to do amazing. And you know this. So you want to hate now. You want to hate. Hating ain't going to get you a fight, Eddie. Hating ain't going to get you a fight at all. So this is how you got to look at it. Wilder not only gave the networks the numbers that they wanted in Showtime and BT Sports, they hit the 250,000 that Showtime was looking for to break even. On top of that, they're going to make more than their guaranteed purses. The biggest heavyweight pay-per-view numbers since Mike Tyson. Contending with all of these other sports, contending with millions of illegal streams. And they still walked away above water. As for your fight with AJ and White, you didn't cover this much revenue. So that's how it goes. So we're not letting him say that these numbers are terrible. Numbers can't be terrible, bruh, with the numbers that I'm looking at. They can't be that terrible. You're saying they're abysmal. You think you're going to come over here and try to once again throw some crap deal or something because you think they're trying to make the public believe that the numbers were terrible? You can run that over in the UK, bruh, but you can't run that over here. You hear me? And this is not even a diss towards AJ. This ain't even a diss towards AJ. I'm not in it for that. What AJ numbers are what they numbers are. They ain't that bad, in my opinion. But you're not going to make it like Wilder's numbers was so bad, was so abysmal, and compare them against the cash cow of boxing. You ain't going to do that, man. We ain't going like that. Once again, this was a successful event. The rematch will be just as successful, bigger. Can't wait to hear what the UK numbers are actually going to say. How Frank Warren and BT Sports over there made out. Can't wait to hear that. So at the time, you know, these are the factual numbers, ladies and gentlemen. And you can look these things up for yourself. But Eddie Hearn, don't try to make like this was a failure, because the American public is turned up for the heavyweight division. The numbers came in solid, showed that people supported it. And for those who couldn't, who didn't have the financials to do it, if they streamed it, I understand. But if you was a cheap, just wanted to be cheap and get around, you know, I ain't paying for that, then whatever, man. You ain't a boxing fan. At the end of the day, this event was great and it was a success. And we ain't going to let Eddie Hearn, Barry Hearn, Anthony Joshua, Dillian White, or nobody else over there in the UK that's against Wilder try to make it like it was a failure, because it wasn't. To the next video, Main Man Made Man. Don't forget to subscribe to Twitter, Made Man 511, Facebook, Main Man Made Man Boxing Forum, Google Plus, Main Man Made Man. You hear me? So, you know, Bomb Squad, you did a fantastic job, bruh. You did an awesome job. You keep on grinding, keep on striving, because now Eddie gonna have to come correct. Eddie is being desperate. You know what? Let AJ go over and do whoever you gonna fight. White, the winner of White Chisora, the Pulev fight, whatever he need to do. I'm glad that Wilder and Fury are not talking heavy about him right now. Their was focused on the rematch. I'm glad to hear that news, because right now, yeah, I ain't gonna act like all roads eventually are not gonna lead back to AJ, because he got the hardware, and it is a big fight. But as for now, your moment has been shut down. Wait your turn. Go over and do whatever you're going to do. Keep building your keep making your little money. But you better give that money to them investors over at Sky, because they shaky. Oh, I've been reading about that too, but I'm not going to get into that. That's just too much into the weeds. To the next video. Peace out.